Many of my friends thought that I was gonna fail, and they told me that because they wanted to protect me, Cathie Wood recalls. But I never thought I was gonna fail. There was a huge unmet need, and that's the best way to start a business. Cathie Wood has always had a reputation of shaking things up. In 2014, after a successful 12-year career at Alliance Bernstein, she decided to break away and build her own firm focusing on innovative companies, disrupting the status quo. Her family and friends thought it was a terrible mistake and warned her against doing it. But she believed in herself, and today, her firm, New York-based Ark Investment Management, a global asset management firm, runs over $50 billion in assets and has become a disruptor itself, thanks to its vehicles, holdings, and leadership. In today's video, we are going to talk about the inspirational story of Cathie Wood and Ark Invest. But before we begin, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button, and you'll be notified anytime we have a new video. Let's begin. Cathie Wood was born in Los Angeles, November 26, 1955, the oldest child of immigrants from Ireland. Her father served in the Irish Army and the United States Air Force and became a successful radar system engineer. Her father was extremely detail-oriented, and it appears that Cathie Wood inherited this trait from him. Her father pushed her to discover connections between things, and this curiosity mindset would later help her become a star investor. As a child, she never lived in one place for too long. As her dad moved from base to base in the Air Force, the family came along as well. By the age of 12, Cathie Wood had already moved 10 times. She spent time in England, Ireland, Alabama, upstate New York, and California. Thus she loved embracing change and quoted, "You know how kids ask, why? I was probably one of those kids." By embracing change at such a young age, living in new countries, attending new schools, and having new circles of friends, this would give her the well-rounded perspective to later dominate in the investment field. Like for most immigrant families, education and career was always at the forefront. She quoted, "I was raised as a firstborn son. I was going to blaze the trail for my family." Like many young girls, Cathie Wood wanted to do something amazing, like to become a ballerina or cure cancer. She didn't end up doing either because fate had different plans for her and would lead her down a different road. However, she would later be investing in genomic companies that looked to cure cancer. She would put herself through school, paying her own tuition, working at places like supermarkets and restaurants. Unsure of what she wanted to do in college, she contemplated many different majors such as geology, astronomy, and engineering. But her father eventually pushed her towards economics, and this was something that she would find her passion in. She would attend college at the University of Southern California, where she would meet her first mentor, Professor Art Laffer, advisor to President Reagan, who would later on become an economic advisor to Donald Trump and a future Presidential Medal of Freedom winner. He is also famously known for the Laffer curve. Although she was just an undergraduate, she would take graduate-level courses with Art Laffer, and he would encourage her to continue pursuing the path of economics. Through Art Laffer's connections, in 1977, she got an internship at Capital Group, an investment firm known for research and long-term views. Although many of us struggle to find our passion throughout life, wandering from one job to another, Cathie Wood was lucky to find her passion early in life at Capital Group. She quoted, "I had this wow moment. The first project I was put on was Hong Kong in 1997, so 20 years away. The focus on such a long-term horizon was one of the things that really got me. I said, okay, this is what I want to do." She ended up working with Capital Group for 3 years as an assistant economist, 1977 to 1980, focused on American funds. In 1981, she graduated summa cum laude from the University of Southern California with a Bachelor of Science degree in Finance and Economics. She moved to New York City in 1980 to take a job at Jennison Associates, where she would work over the next 18 years in various roles, including chief economist, equity research analyst, and portfolio manager. She was only 25 when she was promoted to chief economist. She watched as interest rates approached 20% in the 80s and threatened to crush the economy and the market. Early on in her career, she made a call that inflation and interest rates had peaked. Her superiors and competitors, such as Dr. Doom himself, Henry Kaufman, and Milton Friedman, were deeply against her ideas. She quoted, "For 4 years, nobody believed us. I would have to go up against Henry Kaufman one-on-one. I knew my numbers. I knew what I was talking about, but I had to convince them I did because of my youth." She was in fact right, and this experience told her to believe in herself, even if it wasn't the consensus opinion. Interest rates declined in the 1980s, ushering in a new era of innovation from personal computers, semiconductors, and wireless capability. She would always look at places that other analysts were ignoring, finding stocks that sat at the intersection of multiple industries that weren't followed by analysts from any side. She quoted, "I was like a little dog looking for scraps under the table." Her boss and mentor at the time, Spiros Sigalis, put her in a nearby office so he could pick her brain and tasked her with writing the firm's quarterly letter, and he quoted, "She was by far the sharpest. She always made me look good." Cathie Wood would go on to have 3 children and spend the next 18 years at Jennison. In 1998, Cathie Wood joined Tupelo Capital, where she was a co-founder, portfolio manager, and a partner focused on thematic research strategies and macro strategies. In 2001, she moved to Alliance Bernstein, where she became Chief Investment Officer and worked there for 12 years, managing $5 billion. She continued to invest with strong conviction in high-growth, high-risk, smaller-cap stocks. Although her portfolio performed well in the early 2000s, she was criticized for performing worse than the overall market during the financial crisis of 2007 and 2008. Her high-fuel action was starting to put off some institutions. Her portfolios were deemed too volatile, and they wanted her to make adjustments, like owning indexes like the S&P 500. Wait, hold on. Did you just say you want Cathie Wood's funds to own the S&P 500 index? This is frickin' Cathie Wood we're talking about. You can't do that to her. She strongly disagreed with everyone and quoted, "I felt that the move towards benchmark investment had gone too far, and there was a void evolving in the marketplace having to do with innovation." In 2014, she proposed an idea of an actively managed exchange-traded fund based on disruptive innovation, but it was deemed too risky by Alliance Bernstein. Her idea got nowhere, and thus, it was during this time, after some spiritual reflection and attending Catholic church, that a realization came to her when she was praying and meditating. She quoted, "You cannot worship any idol, and the benchmark has become an idol. Benchmarks are all about success in the past. God does not want us to be stuck in the past. He wants us to move into the new creation." She knew then and there that she needed to start her new company, decided to found Ark Invest, which was named after the Ark of the Covenant, as she was reading the Bible at the time. "I felt that a startup could go out there and spread that message very loudly," she quoted. There were many challenges that Cathie Wood faced with her startup. In the first 3 years after opening Ark Invest, business was extremely tough, and she had to fund payroll with money that came from her own checking account, almost $5 million of it. The firm had no office, just a public working space with everyone having their own computers. but she believed in herself and was willing to risk her own personal wealth. Her critics told her she was making a terrible mistake. Active investment was dead. People were shifting to low-cost index funds. She was committing career suicide. Towards the end of 2016, they had only attracted $307 million in assets, and their 0.75% management fee was barely covering overhead. Her flagship fund also placed in the bottom quartile of its peer group. But she always believed that things were going to work out. She didn't just stop and quit. She didn't just sit there waiting for things to happen. Eventually, two financial firms, Japan's Nikko Asset Management and mutual fund firm American Beacon, partnered with Wood to help distribute Ark's ETFs. Cathie Wood had always cherished technology and startups, and she starts with a blank sheet of paper for innovation. This is actually how Cathie Wood starts her problem-solving process. In fact, she has been quoted in saying, "The white sheet of paper starts us asking questions, and we see how far we can push it." As early as 2014, Cathie Wood made a big bet and believed that autonomous cars were the future and was fascinated with Tesla.
It's our largest position. It's down about 29% this year, and it's always been our largest position this year.
And she continued to add to her position throughout the years.
Tim, this is a stock that is, if you look at a chart of Tesla over the course of the year to date and the 1 year period, this has at best been a roller coaster ride, at worst been one that's trending lower.
People criticized her with her sky-high Tesla price target, but she was absolutely convicted in her idea. In fact, she quoted,
But our conviction level there is so high that it never left our top position.
"To be successful, you need conviction in your ideas. Be proud of your work, even amid criticism." In 2017, Ark finally took off due to surging prices for stocks such as Netflix, Salesforce, Illumina, Square, and Athena Health. Her assets grew tenfold during this point in time, and Ark Invest grew its brand due to bold new predictions, being active on Twitter, and putting out all the research it did on the internet, including real-time logs of her firm's trades. Her company differentiated itself from other investment firms as she onboards young analysts with backgrounds in molecular biology and computer engineering, as these people are more likely to catch the next trend as opposed to your typical Wall Street MBA. Her company was also one of the first to offer a cryptocurrency fund to accredited investors, and Cathie Wood had already started buying cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin as early as 2015 at $250 a coin as an insurance hedge against inflation. By believing in herself and her own abilities, Cathie Wood has turned Ark into one of the fastest growing and top performing investment firms in the world. In 2020, she made another bold bet that fast-growing tech companies would lead the financial markets to recovery and focused Ark portfolios in companies like Tesla, Zillow, and Slack. Her funds completely dominated the competition. She was named the best stock picker of 2020 by Bloomberg News editor-in-chief Matthew A. Winkler. To put things in perspective, among 367 US-based mutual funds with 60% of their $5 billion in American equities, her Ark Genomic Revolution ETF, Ark Innovation ETF, and Ark Next Generation ETF reaped 203%, 159%, and 157%. She beat her closest competitor by 60 percentage points, and she completely demolished the 17% gain for the S&P 500 index of large US stocks. Her funds are some of the fastest growing, with nearly $50 billion in ETF assets, up from $6.6 billion in January 2019. And Cathie Wood is far from being done. "I love bringing to life new ways of looking at the world, helping people understand how the world is going to change, not only in their investment portfolios, but also in their own lives, their children's lives, their grandchildren's lives, helping them understand how to move everyone to the right side of change and really benefit from the exponential growth trajectories that are just taking off now. Cathie Wood is not short of her critics even today, but what she has managed to accomplish in her life is truly inspirational. Keep in mind that she came from a humble working class background from immigrant parents and had no connections or advantages in life. She was also working in a male-dominated industry throughout her career with traditional value-centric mindsets that often disagreed with her views. She was a born fighter that fought her way to the top of the industry. Cathie Wood was also 57 years old before she founded Ark Invest. For many of us, we would consider that near the end of our career, but to Cathie Wood, that was just the beginning. You see, success does not come easy for anyone, and patience is a virtue. The next time you think you are too old to do your own startup or business and haven't found your great success in life, think of Cathie Wood. Today, Cathie Wood has a net worth of $250 million from her holdings in her fund. She is one of America's richest self-made women and voted the top 100 most influential women in U.S. finance. An outsider in the world of finance, you can love her or you can hate her, but she is only getting started. So the only thing you can do is to wait and watch for big things from her in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video. Our channel focuses on inspirational stories to help you find your daily 1% improvement. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Also, make sure you check out one of Cathie's favorite books, Deep Medicine, which talks about how deep learning will direct us to personalized diets based on the 40 trillion bacteria in our guts. It is truly a fascinating read. The link is in the description below. So, how has the inspirational story of Cathie Wood helped you? Drop a comment below and we'll be sure to address it in our next video. Until then, see you next time. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification to the right.